Hello, I'm Greg, RCA Mods, and welcome to another old school RCA Mods unboxing video where we're going to be unboxing this. And what's in this? Well, if you've read the title, you know what it is. But you guys may or may not know that I like collecting obsolete video formats. I've been doing this long before it was popular on YouTube. I've just never filmed any of it. I'm not trying to jump on some kind of bandwagon or anything like this. I had this stuff before that was a trend on YouTube. Started with me getting fascinated finding out about what laser discs were in 2007. I still remember looking up the Wikipedia article on it while sitting downstairs in this house, actually. And then it snowballed from there. 2009, I got my first Laserdisc. 2010, I got my first Laserdisc player for free from my high school. And then I got a huge sum of used Laserdiscs from a lot, and it just snowballed. I mean, I've got huge, well, I wouldn't say huge. There's a lot of people that have a lot more Laserdiscs than I do. If you ever see my suggested video, channels section in my on my YouTube channel page, you'll see Culturedog. He's possibly the most popular Laserdisc collector on YouTube, and for the longest time he had more subs than I did. He's a good friend of mine, real nice guy. He has a lot of interesting Laserdiscs if you're ever interested. But anyway, getting back to the point. I collect Laserdiscs. I collect what's in this box here, and I collect HD DVDs and whatever else I come across. I even have some CDVs and VCDs, which are two different types of media. But anyway, I've got those too. And I always love hooking them up to the newest stuff possible and watching them like they were a modern day format. And that's what I plan on doing with this. What's in this box is an SJT 400. Yeah, SJT 400 CED player. I don't know if it's come to me in one piece. It was as is untested. It probably doesn't work, but I'm hoping it does, because even though I've got a large CED collection, and we'll show you what that is in a second, I've never been able to watch any of my discs. And well, let's hop over next door real quick and show you exactly what I'm talking about with CED players. And we'll be right back. Okay guys, so welcome to my garage basement. This is the basement under the studio next door. And these have been sitting here for about 2.5 years, roughly. I bought these from the same person, both of these systems, plus about 70 discs from the same guy off of eBay, probably somewhere around 2013 or 2014, when I lived locally near the guy by about an hour or so in Pennsylvania. And I got these two machines plus about 70 discs, I think. It was a good amount of discs. He had used these up until like the late 80s, and then he stored them in his barn. And believe it or not, they still showed video, the blue screen. So the electronics worked in them, but the mechanisms didn't. And so I've been collecting all these CEDs and never been able to get these two to work. One of them's missing a stylus now. But the one that's missing the stylus also has a frozen arm and it won't move. And I think it's that one. And then this one has the stylus, but it's broken. And I bought a replacement stylus, and I just never could get it to work right. Neither one of them, I've never been able to watch a CED disc yet. So, yeah. But this was the very first model CED player, the SFT 100. These were actually made the same month and year that my dad graduated from my alma mater, my college in Pennsylvania. Same month and year. So that's kind of neat. But these systems they don't work. I've always wanted to play a disc. I haven't been able to because I can never get these to work. And I was going to send them in to get fixed, but the CED Magic people and stuff, they're slowly dying out, and it's hard to find someone that can fix this stuff. And I've had them apart, but I just can't figure it out. But these systems were pretty neat. These were the first commercially available CED player, and they were all manual, and you had to control them with the front panels. There were no remotes or anything, and let's see here. You just stick the disc in and pull it out manually. So, yeah, pretty primitive compared to the one that we have now. And I'm actually filming this before we open that box, so I don't know if it's going to work. So, fingers crossed, it will. Let's get back next door. Okay, welcome back. Yeah, those were my SFT 100s, and those were the first CED players. This SJT 400 was the last of the CED players, more or less. It also includes stereo. So if you have a Blue Caddy disc, you had stereo. And those Blue Caddy discs were backwards compatible with the mono units, but this could play the stereo track. This should have RCA jacks on the back of it, if I remember correctly. And this is an auto-loading mechanism, which is probably broken. Those break a lot in these models. But it would take the caddy out of your hand and then spit it back out. Pretty neat. You didn't have to manually put it in and pull it out. But also caused a lot more things to go wrong. Plus, this came from the factory with a remote on it, which this I don't think has. But this supposedly came with 11 discs too, and I don't even know what the movies are. I wanted the player, but it'd be nice if some of these discs are still good, because that's the problem with CEDs. They were the cheaper alternative to VHS. Their quality was about the same, but they also weren't made very well and didn't last very long. This technology, these players, these discs is what made the original RCA company go bankrupt. The RCA you know of now has basically nothing to do other than name to this company. This was the original RCA company. They went bankrupt. They no longer exist. It's because of these. And it's a kind of crappy format, but really neat too. So let's open this and see what we find. Alright guys, once we open this, you'll notice right here I've got my TV. This is my first LCD TV I ever had, I can think of. And it's actually a 1080i TV, but anyway. This is a very useful TV because it's got every connector that you'd never need. You can even connect this to a computer. It does 1280 by 768 on the screen resolution, which would be nice if it actually did 1080i, but yeah, you get what you get. But we're going to hook this up to that if it works. But let's open it first and see what happens here. There's a lot of tape on this thing. My watch stopped. Okay, it's still recording. Thought it stopped for a second there. Let's see here. see here, what do we have here? This looks like a stack of discs, which have been laying down for a while now. You always want to stand these up. I'm hoping they're fine, but I haven't had time to open this. It's been in this box for probably a month now. Looks like Diana Ross. Hey, these are stereo discs. Little history with CEDs. They were introduced in like 1981. They've been developing them since the late 70s. Here we go. Here's some discs here. There's Diana Ross. But anyway, they've been developing these since the 70s, but they didn't release them until about 81, long after Laserdisc. And by 83, they hadn't been making any money. The company was going bankrupt. This player came out. And this was supposed to revitalize it. It didn't. They stopped making players in 84, and they stopped making discs. That should be a fun one to watch. Paul McCartney and Wings, rock show. Kenny Loggins Alive. But anyway, 84 they stopped making players, but they continued to make discs for users until 86. And their last disc was actually a commemorative disc that just came out for, I believe, the people that worked on these. And it's an interesting video about the history of this, and it's on YouTube if you ever want to watch it. I can't remember exactly what it's called. But there's some more discs here. Star Trek, A Mock Time and Journey to Babel. Star Trek, the Managerie? That's neat. I don't even know if I'm showing you these discs. I'm aiming this a little better with my watch. Hey, I see Raiders of the Lost Ark. In stereo. That's cool. Yeah, wow, it's really tight. Raiders of the Lost Ark. Jeez, there's a lot of packaging in here. I hope that's a good sign that this survived, because I'm sure he didn't lock down the laser. Fleetwood Mac. Mirage Tour, 1982. Neat. Okay, we're now down to the player. Here's the information and address to my house. Let's not show you that. Here is the original owner's manual. It came with the original owner's manual. Let's show you that real quick. Whew, my knees are hurting now. There we go. Select Division CED Player. It just tells you how to hook it up and all that stuff. And it's got water damage on it, which really makes me feel reassured for this player. Let's get to the main event here. And I'm sure this thing is not exactly light. here is the player. Yep, it's lined up. Oh! Alright. I mean, from the outer appearance, it does look like it's in good shape, but it's also in like 50 layers of bubble wrap. So it's probably deceiving. My history with Macs, it's probably not in good shape. Even though this isn't a Mac, maybe you get the idea. Power cord looks good. And I know I didn't mention it in the video. I've said that those FT100s that I have next door, those were from May of 1981. This was from 1983 probably. Here it is. A little dirty, but it looks like a decent player. SJT 400. September 1983. So, I don't see the stylus port on here. I don't know how these work. I learned everything I could with the SFT100s, but the SJT one from 400 I never thought I'd actually be able to afford, because these things are pretty expensive when they work. This may or may not work, but somewhere around here is the stylus. I checked the stylus first to make sure this thing works, but I have no clue where it is. So, yeah. But here's the player. It's heavy. Woo! I'm going to first look at this real quick, and then we'll do a shaky cam real quick and then hook it up to the TV. I don't know if I have any RCA jacks, composite cables laying around, and we'll have to go look for some. Because if anything, we'll have to use coax. I don't know if I have those either right now next door at the house. Next door at the studio, it might be a different story, but I don't know. Well, before we look at this, I want to show you. Let's see here, find a disc I don't care about possible damage. They're all really good tires. Yeah. I'm not a huge Barry Manilow fan. Some of his music's okay, but I damage it. These discs were in these hard plastic caddies because you are never supposed to actually touch them. If you push in the locking tabs here and here, you can see what's special about these discs. They are vinyl discs, and they're coated in a kind of a silicone, a conductive silicone to lubricate the stylus and stuff, and they're supposed to be good for 500 plays at least. Very pretty, as you can see, but once that silicone wears off, these wear out real quick. They warp easily, they scratch easily. It's just not a good thing to be pulling them out of the case like this. And I've also had one of my discs jam into the SFT 100 that I was trying to fix. I think that one's dead, but luckily I got a new one in this lot, so yeah, that's awesome. Anyway, I'm really tired now. I'm going to go find some cables, see if this is all good, because when you transport these, they're supposed to have a transport screw in them, if I remember correctly. I doubt he actually tightened it, because I'm sure the seller had no clue. But I'm going to make sure the transport screw is off and make sure there's nothing broken. It doesn't sound like anything's broken in it, so we may just be able to hook it up, but I also need to find the cables for it. So yeah, anyway, let's get to it. Okay, so welcome to Shake a Cam. The only thing I could find were some video component cables, not the audio part, but just the video part. These are the same wire, they're just a different color. It's also not focusing very well, but you get the idea. What we're going to do is use green for yellow, red for red, and blue for white. And that's the thing, though. That was before color coding was really a thing on these. But the nice thing is they're marked. And what's on the back of the SJT 400 is the antenna in and out, or the coax cable, you know. Then you got video, and that was for a it was a remote control that ran off of audio, from what I've read up on. Some equipment put out sound pulses to change stuff, so you could use those equipment to control this, which is pretty neat. Then you have the right and the left stereo there. We're going to hook these up. Right is red and left is white. So let's do red, white, and then video. And then over here, we'll do yellow, white, and red. So we're hooked up, fed in the back of the TV. Now we just need to plug it up. I looked on how you can check and see if the stylus is okay and stuff. I don't feel like prying this thing open. You have to take the screws out the back, slide the cover off, and then play with a bunch of gears to slide it forward. It's a lot more difficult to mess with the stylus on this. So I almost guarantee it wasn't locked down, and I hope it wasn't at this point, because I'll break something probably. I'm just hoping it survived, and I hope the stylus is good. So we may be watching Barry Manilow, because out of all the discs, that's the least desirable one in my opinion. But we will hook this up, and I'll put you back on a tripod and pray this thing works. All right, so we are hooked up to AV1. I haven't tried to power it on yet, but it's plugged in. So here's the power button. We hit power. It's flashing L, which means load. It's making a really awful racket, which I'm sure it's not supposed to be making. Something might be very broken. Okay. They didn't describe that in the video of the listing. It's definitely jammed. There might be something jammed in there. The TV did pick up something for a split second there, but we're going to have to open it. So, what joy. Let's see what's going on inside. Okay, I didn't want to open this thing, but looks like we're going to have to. So there's, I think, it's just 2 screws in the back. And if I take those out, you should be able to look inside of it and see what's going on. And yes, it's still plugged into the wall. This might be a very shocking experience. Supposedly, once you take these two screws out, I don't see any more. The top panel just slides back. Like so. Like so. Like, why is it not coming off? It's got that screw out, that screws out. You lift up first. I think it's jammed. Let's hit the power button. Okay. Well, while we're at it, let's go look at the stylus. I've looked all this up in advance, so I know what I'm doing. This black gear right here is apparently very fragile, so I gotta do this really slow. Time-lapse time would be very good. This is not fun. Okay. This I don't understand how this works. Okay. Locking piece, which I'll probably not be able to get back on. Put that up. I can already tell you that it doesn't look like a stereo cartridge, so it's been replaced at some point. Stereo cartridges are blue. This is white. Stylus tip looks okay. It's got a good spring to it. It does look very worn out, honestly. Score probably need a new one soon. But it should, in theory, work for now. So we'll put that back. And now I gotta figure out how this goes back in. Or that whole cover would just come off of my hand. That's annoying. It goes there, that goes there. It clips down. And this clips into a hole down here. So there we go. Now it's clipped in, I think. From what I understand, once you power on, the stylus should go back into place. If it doesn't, that means there's something wrong in here too. Let's see. It does. So we know that works. I think this piece here might be the travel locking mechanism, which needs to go down. It goes in this gear here. Well, I did something. It thinks there's a disc in it now. Okay. It's not doing anything. Those should be the tabs telling that the caddy's in. The loading mechanism seems to be okay. I don't see any broken gears.
I didn't get that. Could you try?
Shut up, Siri. Fuses seem okay. So, now we know that whatever's wrong is probably up in here. And now I have to get this piece that apparently wasn't the locking gear back in. This just holds this in place. There's this gear here. Something wrong here. Whatever is wrong in here is what's keeping me from loading it, I think. Leave it like that. Try to go get the disc here and see what happens. Okay, so the mechanism is not self-ejecting, so we'll help it out here. Okay, so the mechanism's not working right now, which makes this really fun using this thing. Let's force it down and see if we can get it to spin up. For a second. It's been dropped. I don't have a doubt in my mind about that. I spent a lot of money on this too, with the hope that would just work. Well, put the TV up here where you can see it. Power button. And listen to the world's most loud, annoying concert. Nothing against Barry Manilow. It's probably the world's most loud, annoying concert. Because of this stupid player, it's not working right. Power. Oh, it sounds great. Play. Gotta have a broken gear or something. It's trying to eject it right now. either a motor seized up or it's got a broken belt right here. There's one problem. So it at least needs a belt. Ow. So now I know what that noise is. It's this motor here. This is the loading motor. And here is the belt that goes to it. Now what? Okay. It's in retake mode. Where did I put the sleeve? There it is. So if I slide this into here, locks that into place, then you can pull it back out. It no longer buzzes. That's a start. So now we know that the loading mechanism's only not working because the belt's bad. And no, I don't have a belt for it. Why would it be making that loud racket? It's almost like this is supposed to be floating. It's not floating. It's just hitting. Let's try to load it again. As long as we help it along, it may actually work this time. Let's try it from side 2. Yeah, side 2. It's locked up again. Yeah, doing this with the power supply right next to it's not a great idea. Okay, the whole thing's frozen now. I just want to watch a freaking video. I've been waiting since like 2013 for this. Okay, that's load. I have it in load. There it goes. Now we help it along. Whatever it is, it's underneath. So the player does detect it's a stereo disc, and it knows it's on side 2, so all that works, but it's not playing anything here. And oh my god, this is annoying. Pause, play, reject. ideas here. I'm going to look underneath it and see if I see anything wrong. But it's looking like we may be at the end of the video for now. And if this doesn't get uploaded, that means I got electrocuted to death. Which hopefully doesn't happen. See you in a bit, I hope. Okay, so I took all the screws out the bottom. And I can't get into the bottom. Because the bottom's got this big giant nut for the turntable. And I don't have anything over here that can turn that. Nor do I even really know if you're supposed to turn it. It might be the reason why it doesn't work at all. That might be the shipping screw. I don't know. It's probably a height adjuster, to be honest with you. I think some of these players were direct drive and some were belt driven. I'm not 100 on that. I don't really know. I don't know a whole lot about the SJT 400 compared to the FT 100 because I've been very intimate with those two and still haven't been able to frickin' get those to work. But I know a lot more about those. This was a lot more advanced and a better player, but I'm running out of ideas. I'm talking about almost 40-year-old technology here, and my expertise on technology ends at about 1990. Don't know what to do. I'm going to mess with it a little bit. I'm going to actually leave the screws out. See if loosening the bottom a little bit helps it. Because this is also like a shock absorber, I believe. Now that there's no screws in the bottom of it, it might loosen something up and it might work. I doubt it, but it might. So I'm going to flip it back over, fix all the parts that fell out of it when I flipped it, and see what happens. Okay, so I just disconnected the turntable to see what's going on. And I don't see anything. You can see it's rubbing. There's a ring rubbed into that, so it's sitting too low. That's probably why it's not playing. It probably gets just enough information on the stylus to detect that it's a stereo disc, but that's it. Because it's probably not letting the stylus glide across it well enough. But this is definitely sitting too low. And that nut is probably the main reason. I don't want to be sticking my hand into that too much, or it kind of looks like the turntable's mechanism is spun with electromagnets, which is kind of neat, but doesn't help me with this situation very well. Wish there was a way I could just temporarily lift this slightly, like with a gasket or something, just to get it up off of that. Well, let's see what else we can do. Found out something interesting. It is an electromagnet. That's a giant magnet. Yeah. That's going to make it more fun to put back in. Alright. Okay, so at this point, I just want to see if my theory is correct about that sitting too low. So I made a spacer out of a big pin. This is a temporary solution. It probably won't do anything. Well, it doesn't hurt to try, so I'm going to stick it in here and see what happens. Well, the spacer did succeed in one thing. It helped the turntable not spin at all, which means no more noise, but also defeats the purpose of putting the spacer in there in the first place. So I'm going to have to thin it out and see if that fixes it. Alright, so we made a smaller spacer. Put that on here. See if that works. Hey! No more awful noise. It's also really off balance because I didn't cut the spacer flat. But it might actually do something. It actually spins really good too. Well, let's get it back together and see what happens. Oh yeah, that end goes into there, and that goes into there, like so. Oh, I forget the number. It's green is yellow, red is right, blue is left. Okay, so we, I think, are still on the right input. You plug it in. And now we manually load everything. Okay. It's not in load mode. Why is it not loading? Uh-oh. Now we got a new problem. Okay. What is going on now? Oh, well, one thing. It's gotta be there. Okay, now it's in load mode. Now it won't take it. Now I've done something else. What have I done? I think I know what's wrong. Why is this still on? Turn it off. I should have pulled that back. Now I don't know how I can go back up. Okay. Nope. What is going on here? Okay. I think I got it that time. Oh, it might help to plug it back in. All right, it's in load. Okay, it took that. Well, it definitely sounds better. and play. And play. Well, it's working better than it was. I don't think that really means a whole lot at this point. What now? Let's fast forward. Make sure it's on the right input. AV1. Says no signal. Maybe it's only putting it out on coax. And in that case, I have to go find a coax cable. Wonderful. All right. Power. Well, let's go find a coax cable. So I think I just pulled a Gregism again. I thought I had this plugged into AV1, but I think I have it plugged into AV2. So let's go to AV2, hit power. Watch a good sign. Ah! Ladies and gentlemen, we have a working player. There's nothing wrong with it now, although I do need to readjust the height of the disc. It works. Holy crap! Well, that's cool. So if I hit reject, it reads reject. Okay. I also think that's actually side 2. This disc has been flipped at some point. Oh well. Please load disc. Flip it around. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the very first time I've ever been able to watch a CED. And you get to see how it works at the same time I do. Let's see here, let's turn the light on here. You can see the stylus is right here. It's reading this disc. And it doesn't actually, it glides across the top of the disc. It doesn't actually have a groove in it. That's why they're called CED, for capacitive electronic disc, I think. And it is actually working, as we can see there. I think that's actually a very good way to end the video, with it actually working. I'm very happy. I need to get a new belt. I need to go look at some CED forums and figure out why it is scraping like it is without the spacer. That spacer is not going to last long. So if anything, I'll share this video with the people on the forum. They'll tell me just how big of an idiot I am. You watch. But yeah, it's actually working. So yeah, I'm beyond happy here. I've got a fully functional SJT 400, except for the loading mechanism and the fact that the spindle is sitting too low on the turntable. But hey, I'm happy. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video and all this troubleshooting to figure out what's going on. And it's getting some crosstalk. It was short-lived there. This is actually a pretty good quality disc. So, yeah, it's awesome. Anyway, guys, don't forget, I do have a Patreon if you'd like to help support me and see these videos a day early. There'll be a link at the end of the video and also in the description below. And that's about it. This has been a RCA Mods video. Bonus material, guys. Ignore the clicking. I think that's from the spacer. You ever wonder what crosstalk looks like on a CED? You're about to find out. Maybe. There we go. Well, yeah, that just comes with the territory of CEDs. They don't fare very well. But at least it works. Bonus material, guys. I've been talking to some people on the CED Facebook group, and there is actually an adjustment screw hidden underneath that nut. Well, in between that nut and the center of this machine on the bottom, which you just shove an Allen key up into to twist to adjust the height. So that's one thing we're going to do in the next coming video on this. We'll be adjusting the height, taking that spacer out, and replacing the belt, which I still need to order. But hey, that's awesome. So anyway, I thought I'd give you that update before I finish this video editing up. So yeah, awesome.